I know many of you at home have been staring at your pancake mix, maple syrup, rice, and cream of wheat lately, wondering when will this unjust world make sense again. And that's why here at Rudyland, we have been tasked with changing these horrible products. We're replacing Aunt Jemima with Aunt Patty and Thelma. We're kicking old Uncle Ben to the curb and bringing in Uncle Fester. Fuck off, Mrs. Butterworth,
My dick
and welcome
hurts!
home, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hello!
Guy on the cream of wheat box, meet Guy
If it's
Fieri.
funky,
You're
I'll funk
welcome,
it.
America.
We're solving our cultural issues one step at a time through branding.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Chris! Don't we? I want a divorce.
What did we see this week? We saw Miller's Crossing, a lovely jaunt through 1960s Los Angeles and the party scene. Oh, it was Norm Macdonald in Screwed. What are your impressions of Screwed? Tell me what you think.
Well, I saw this movie years ago on VHS, and I always remember liking it as a kid. I'll say that the first 15 minutes started off a little rough for me. I was like, I don't know if this is going to hold up. But then it really did get a lot better. There's a lot of good jokes, a lot of good lines, a lot of good moments. You know, it's an underrated comedy for sure.
Since my senior year in high school, when me and my friends may or may not have spent a night ingesting THC, we love this movie. There's one scene in particular, this one. Boop.
Ooh, it's like an army out there. I'm on parole for mail fraud. I gotta hide.
So dumb, but made me laugh so hard back in the day. Yeah, the plot is really stupid. Everybody's great except for Norm Macdonald, who's a little hit or miss. You could have lost the entire Sarah Silverman side plot, but overall, very funny movie.
Yeah, it's a funny movie, and you know, I'm going to disagree with you with Norm Macdonald. I'm a big Norm Macdonald fan, so I liked him in this movie, and I even like his other movie that he did, Dirty Work, which is funny.
Yeah, well, things could be worse, you know. I could have got my nose bit off by a Saigon whore.
You bastard!
No, I love Dirty Work too. I'm a huge Norm Macdonald fan as well. It's just for the entirety of the movie, he like screams every 4 seconds.
Yeah, he does kind of have that kind of manic, kind of like screaming. Yeah, that is kind of the choice. I don't know. It never bothered me.
I mean,
Right.
he was good, but there were some moments where it's like, all right, come on. You're doing it like a sitcom read.
Yeah, I mean, he's not, you know, a really good actor, and you know, he didn't do much after this. I mean, you know, he
was
he's
relegated to the horrors of Adam Sandler's side character.
Yeah, pretty much since Billy Madison, he's been. I think he played like Colonel Sanders or something in Jack and Jill or something. Or
he was definitely Colonel Sanders in those KFC commercials. You know, where they had different celebrities.
Right. Yeah. I think they might have fired somebody or something who originally played him.
I'm not shocked. Like I said, everyone is great. Chappelle. We gotta be quiet. Young Dave Chappelle is simply delectable. He's great. His mannerisms, how he reads his dialogue, hilarious.
Yeah, his body language, everything, the way he turns his head and looks and everything. Yeah, I would say if you're a fan of early Chappelle, he did this movie with Martin Lawrence. It's called Blue Streak, and he's the best thing about it. Like, he's absolutely fucking.
Yeah, Blue Streak is good. Like this really dumb plot. Don't go out looking for Das Boot or something, but a nice, fun comedic ride.
Yeah, I mean, that was, the late 90s, early 2000s kind of comedies. It was just, kind of very out there kind of ridiculousness,
I didn't tell him nothing. All I told him about was the time he ate 50 chicken gizzards.
That wasn't me. That was some Chinese guy.
Oh, Fong did do that, didn't he?
I love the name of his chicken shack, Rusty's Juicy Chicken Hole.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like those little details,
Exactly.
they really bring out the world of the movie. It's just like that little bit of like production design goes along.
Of course, Danny DeVito is the president of the Jack Lord fan club. Of course, Chip is a gay, drug-addicted con. Of course, Chappelle hits people with lamps when he's scared. Things like that, they really fill out the, the world of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. How do you feel about DeVito in this movie?
Oh, I loved him. His delivery. It's like not anybody else, but a less talented comedic actor. It would have been brutal to watch him do this. Like,
It's the clicker. Hey, honey, where's the clicker? I don't know. Inside me.
when he's looking for the decoy corpse.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because when I was watching this, I didn't really remember anything. But when that scene came up about, all the shit that's been inside people's asses, I specifically remember that scene, and the remote was the one thing I remembered. And I don't know, that wasn't as funny to me.
It went on.
It
went on a little bit too long.
Yeah, and what I did notice after, revisiting it was he's kind of doing a little Penguin in this. Did you notice that?
I felt it a little bit, but not enough where I kept thinking about it. Just he read something or his piece of his dialogue made me think of that, but then I forgot about it.
Grover? Grover?
Maybe this is a bad time to mention this, but my license is expired.
He weaves in and out of it. Like when you first meet him in the morgue and he's putting like the blood on his face and shit like that, he's really Penguin in that scene. Like his voice, he's real Penguin.
Yeah, maybe, but for the Penguin, it's really not only his voice, but his diction. Like he was an educated little freak, he could speak very eloquently. Right. Here he's doing like a street New York City guy.
Yeah, it seemed like he was doing a little Penguin to me. I don't know. That's kind of how I.
Did you mind the Sarah Silverman plot as much as I did?
I mean, it was interesting to see her in the movie, but like you say, like she could have been completely cut out of the movie. I mean, her at the protests and everything, like even her, like she's the one who introduces him to DeVito, but
it doesn't even happen on screen. It's just in passing. Oh,
yeah.
What's her name? No, had a neighbor who knew this guy who worked for the county morgue or city morgue.
Right. You could have just had a scene where they're going to the morgue and you see the sign of the morgue and they're like, why are we here? And it's like, oh yeah, I know someone who got me in touch with so-and-so,
The thing too is it didn't really add to the comedy at all. It was just, what these feminists and stuff say about like a trophy or a prize. Like she didn't really serve any purpose. Didn't move the story forward. Didn't make me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, there's one joke out of it, and it's when he goes to tell her that he
kidnapped himself.
She's like, "Oh, have you been kidnapped?" Yeah. And he's like, "No." And then he goes back into the car with Chappelle, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I told her."
I told her the truth. We had a little sex. She told me the guy's name, Grover.
Damn.
Did all that in 10 minutes.
From
Which, you know, it's fine. Even if the joke doesn't have me in stitches, at least you took the effort to put it in there.
Right. Yeah. Did you notice any similarities between this movie and Resurrection? One in particular.
Oh my god. This and Resurrection?
Yeah. Christopher Lambert does something in Resurrection that happens in this movie.
He walks into a door because he doesn't have his glasses on?
No, the coupon clipping. The old lady's clipping coupons.
Yeah. Jesus. I just want to escape Resurrection. I never want to speak or hear about it again.
Yeah. So, what are some of the negatives that you have for it?
I mean, that's really it. The plot is dumb, but it doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be super intelligent. It's a comedy. Norm was hit or miss, and honestly, the Sarah Silverman plot could have been cut. Maybe Sherman Helmsley could have been played by somebody else. He didn't do bad, but he didn't stick out.
Who was that?
Chip.
Chip?
Yeah, the Mrs. Croc's gay boyfriend.
The black guy? George Jefferson?
Yeah. Isn't that his name? Sherman
Oh,
Helmsley?
I like... Oh, I don't know what his name is. I like George Jefferson in this movie. I thought he was pretty good.
He did okay. I didn't hate him. It's just... he didn't wow me.
He didn't wow you, huh? You didn't like that scene of him in his little banana hammock?
It's the new Village People. I love that Dave Chappelle, like I said earlier in the details, he hits the detective with a lamp.
What the hell are you doing? That man's a cop. I was scared. Every time you're scared, you hit a guy with a desk lamp.
Yeah, that's one of those just like odd things in a screenplay where you're just like, wow, you know, like how do you come up with that?
It's like Billy Madison and the other Happy Gilmore. They had something to them, little weird bits that like, if it gets you, it gets you. If not, whatever.
Right. I guess my only like real negative with this movie is, I mean, it's an hour and 18 minutes without the credits, and I think it kind of feels rushed towards the end. Like it's a good movie, but it feels like, I don't know, maybe we could have done a little more.
What are you thinking?
You know what I mean? Like I mean, the whole like kidnapping plot and the changes towards the end, it's like, I don't know, maybe we could have, I don't want to say dragged it out, but it's like we could have thought of some more.
Yes, almost as soon as they're at the police station, they escape, enter at Grover's, and the cops meet up with them and figure everything out. Do you know what the favorite scene of mine during high school was yet?
Your favorite scene in the movie during high school?
Yeah, when I was when I could have been using marijuana.
Your favorite scene? The one where the dog bites his hand?
I thought about this, but I didn't write it down. Did this come out before or after There's Something About Mary? I'm betting after.
Yeah, it came out after because There's Something About Mary came out in 1998. This came out in 2000.
The number one scene,
I'm pretty sure.
which you guys at home already know because I've played you a clip, presumably. Uh-oh, I gotta hide. I'm on parole for mail fraud. Let me in there, Grover. Let me in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when he jumps in the bed and it goes into the wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like the Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore thing again. It's just so weird and random. It really worked for me.
Yeah, that kind of had like a Looney Tunes vibe to it. You know, almost like, like a Wile E. Coyote or something like that blasting through the door or something.
Maybe.
You know?
I also liked when he first pulls up, when they pull up after they escape to Danny DeVito Grover's house.
You ain't gonna take me alive!
You're never gonna take me alive. He whips out like a heavy machine gun. Then he whips out a fucking rocket launcher. Where did he get them?
Yeah, that's yeah, I know. He's just got a stockpile of fucking arsenal, and it's hilarious. He shoots that fucking car like 1,000 times, and nothing happens to them at all.
Well, yeah.
It's like, at least one of them could have got like wounded or something, like some type. One other thing that I will say that is that there are a few moments in this movie really shows its age. Like there are some super dated moments, like when they go to upload the video. It says "Try the internet." There's a sign
Yeah.
above the computer, and I was like, okay, they're uploading that video.
Oh my God! It's human urine.
Oh yeah, that was another great line when he's recording him in the cage, and he's like, "Is that urine?" Oh my God, it is! It's human urine.
It's playing on the news. Miss Croc is like, I love the old lady. I thought she was great.
Yeah, the old lady is really good. She's got that just cantankerous, vibe to her. She's always got that pissed off look on her face.
Yeah.
She's really good. It was very well.
Do you know
cast.
if Willard has any enemies? I wouldn't know. Do you know if he has any relatives? I wouldn't know. Ma'am, this man has worked for you for 18 years. You're telling me you don't know of any of his acquaintances or family? I can't remember what she says after that.
Right? Yeah, the cop is really good too. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, not comedic at all. Just the hard-nosed, hard-voiced, gruffy detective guy.
When he's in the morgue and he says,
That's the guy who beat you up and held you prisoner?
Yeah, well, he was a lot more ferocious back when he was alive.
Ferocious? He's an old midget.
that was my favorite line of the movie. That was
One of mine as well.
Even that whole scene where DeVito's just looking at the guys in the morgue and he's got the ID,
picture.
You can't let him down. You can't let him down.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's good. There's just a lot of good lines in the movie.
I've never seen
like
the writers or directors. I'm at least not knowingly. I've never seen anything they've ever done. It's two dudes who wrote and directed, but I didn't recognize their name. I didn't research at all, which I probably should have.
Yeah, I did. You've seen stuff that they've done. They wrote Ed Wood.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, they wrote. It's Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski. This is the only movie that they directed, sadly.
I'm sure it didn't do well at the box office, but
Oh no, it was a box office failure. It had a $10 million budget and it only made $7 million worldwide, I believe. And
shocking.
yeah, and it was just like absolutely critically destroyed. Like this movie like didn't get like one good review. Basically, they all just said it wasn't funny, which yet again, critics, this isn't funny. Okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't really refute that fact. Just because I find something funny doesn't mean you're going to find it funny, you know?
Right, yeah, everyone has different tastes. But yeah, they wrote Ed Wood. They did People versus OJ, that miniseries.
I started watching it. I didn't make it out of the first episode.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. They also did Dolomite Is My Name, which I've heard great things about. I haven't watched it though.
Me too. I'm not familiar with the blaxploitation movies in the 60s or 70s, so it'd be like an alien experience to me, I feel like.
Well, they said specifically, like, even if you don't know, it doesn't matter. So that's they kind of prime you for that. But they also did the People versus Larry Flint, which I haven't seen, but I've heard that's good.
I saw it when I was a kid. It was a movie, not a TV show, right? Woody Harrelson is Larry Flint.
Yeah, and the whole like penthouse shit or whatever.
I remember liking it, but I was a little, snot-nosed fuck.
not knows little fuck.
So you're recommending My Name is Dolomite?
Yeah, exactly. Phenomenal film. But I did find out an interesting fact about this movie, and that was apparently in an interview, Danny DeVito said he only did this movie for the money.
Did it for what?
He just did it for the money.
Well,
Did it for the paycheck.
I'm not surprised. I'm not picturing him hanging out with Dave Chappelle or Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
Maybe Sherman Helmsley.
Any other lines from the movie you liked, or?
I already gave the ones that stick out that I remember. Any more from you?
Yeah, there's one from Chappelle, which is when the dog gets out of the box and runs home, and they go to the
We kidnapped a turd.
yeah, sweet Jesus, we kidnapped a turd. That was a great line. But even that scene when they go into the airport and they're like, yeah, we're gonna pay in cash and all this, and he tells
Turns out there's fucking lettuce.
right, he tells the cop to like
Lettuce and trash.
yeah, he tells the cop to like shove it up her ass or whatever and tow the van.
Tow it. We ain't never coming back. Park it up your ass. I'm kind of pissed that Dave Chappelle didn't have more, even if they're not starring, more movie roles. Because when he was young, he was really, really magnetic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I that's the way I feel about him and Norm. I just think they're both of them. It's weird that they were in this movie together because both of them are like really well-renowned stand-ups who didn't really have big, movie careers, but like still right now they're prolific. Like they're very well-regarded stand-ups. They're like two of like the most respected ones, so it was interesting. I'm wondering if they went back a ways in the comedy, the stand-up circuit.
I would imagine so. Even if they weren't like friends or anything, I'm sure they would have seen each other at, various clubs they both worked at.
Right. Yeah. There was another good line I remember was when when Norm, he gets the money. He's got the luchador mask on.
Give me the money, and he gets stabbed and beaten by children.
He gets stabbed and beaten by children, and then when he's explaining it to to Dave Chappelle, he's like, "Yeah, he said, so you got mugged."
They had guns and tattoos, and they had those 2 sticks on a chain that you swing and you hurt people with.
You expect me to believe that you were mugged?
Mugged? It was more like a rape.
That was another.
I wrote that one down as well. All right, since we're closing it up, I'll give you one more. They're going to kidnap the dog.
Remember, we have to be quiet inside the house. Miss Croc is a light sleeper.
So this is where the old bitch sleeps, huh?
Yeah, I wrote that one down too. So this is where the old. And I also wrote down Muffin bite my weenie.
And she wakes that was a 2-parter joke because she wakes up. They try to lure the dog with a hot dog,
right?
And they toss it, and it ends up in her glass with her dentures next to her bed. It gets bitten off. She wakes up the next morning, starts chewing it and looking real confused. The old lady was great. You would imagine her to be very good comedically, but she was great.
Yeah, she was great, and I really did love that scene that takes place right after the hot dog when they're going down the stairs and that dog bites his hand and he's just slamming it on the fucking desk.
There's blood being spewed everywhere.
That scene and the morgue scene when he's with the old midget is just incredible. Those 2 scenes I was fucking just dying from. It's a really nice little movie. I definitely would recommend it.
A full recommendation from me as well. A timeless classic from my past. So, double recommendation on Netflix currently. Definitely give it a watch if you like comedy.
Yeah.
Non sequitur involving my penis.